And it is day 107 of the second Trump administration. And you know what we are starting with tonight? Money, power, politics. The markets finished the day down once again. Part of the reason? The long wait for any progress on trade deals. And the White House meeting today between President Trump and Canada's Prime Minister likely failed to ease those concerns. While both leaders said they want to work towards a trade deal in the near future, the vibes were, safe to say, off, especially when my colleague Gabe Gutierrez asked Trump if he was joking when he said that Canada should be the 51st state. Watch the response.
No. Well, I still believe that, but you know, it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages. You know, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person.
If I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale. It's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together.
But never say never. Never say never.
He just did. After leaving the White House, Carney confirmed that he asked President Trump to stop referring to Canada as the 51st state. And that is where we are, with one of the most important allies in our nation's history. And from the sources I speak to, who were banking on that being a good meeting today, it seemed pretty clear to all of them that Donald Trump was wildly unprepared for this sit-down with Canada's leader. Why do I say that? Well, for one, Trump keeps saying we're spending $200 billion a year to subsidize Canada. But for fact's sake, that is not remotely true. It's not even clear what he's talking about. He might be talking about the trade deficit. But last year, America's trade deficit with Canada in goods and services was only about $45 billion. Even when you look at just the goods, the deficit was $63 billion. But there is a bigger problem. This is not a subsidy to begin with. And I want you to think about this. Think about this administration for a moment. It is filled with the wealthiest group of businessmen we have ever seen in any modern White House. Yet not a single one of them has explained to the president that when the richest country in the world, that's us, buys more stuff from other countries than they buy from us, it's not a subsidy. We want and need the stuff that those other countries make. We don't have the resources to make everything in America, or we've chosen not to. Part of capitalism is American companies making choices about whether or not they would rather produce things here or import them from other countries. Importing is not necessarily a bad thing. A trade deficit is not necessarily a bad thing. And the businessmen surrounding the president in this White House, they know that. But they appear to have no interest in telling him, which leaves our economy in the hands of someone who apparently wants to isolate America as the rest of the world economy is moving on without us. With that, let's get smarter with the help of our lead-off panel tonight. Jeff Mason is here, White House correspondent for Reuters. Sam Stein, managing editor for The Bulwark and MSNBC political contributor. And former Democratic Senator Doug Jones of Alabama. Sam, let's start with you. President Trump's big business cabinet cannot or will not set him straight on how the basic principles of trade deficits work. What does that say to America?
Well, it was interesting because it seems like there is actually a disconnect between the cabinet and Trump, both on the factual grounds and on the communications ground, and you can argue on the political grounds. A couple things stood out to me there. One, on the factual stuff, yes, the concept of trade deficit seems to elude the president to this day. Beyond that, he said in the meeting with Prime Minister Carney that the United States does not do all that much business with Canada, by way of sort of dismissing the need to cut a deal with it. In fact, statistically huge business partner, trading partner for the United States. For obvious reasons, we share a massive border with Canada. Lumber, cars, all the goods go back and forth. And so it didn't quite make sense. But the more telling moment, I thought, came somewhat in the middle of the sit down, where Trump was dismissing the need for trade deal announcements. And he said something, he made an aside about how his advisors seem to not be communicating particularly well on this issue by emphasizing the need for trade deals or teasing announcements. He said, look, we don't need to make announcements. We're going to set the price, and countries will come in and they'll treat us like a department store, which just seems to be his favorite metaphor here. Putting aside the weird analogy, I thought that was really telling because his cabinet was there in front of him. Howard Lutnick was there in front of them. To go on and say, look, they've got this all wrong. They're emphasizing the wrong thing. They don't know what they're talking about, really, suggests that there is a gulf here on factual grounds and on political grounds.
Yeah, and department stores are hardly choice businesses anymore. They are no longer the businesses they once were when any of us were growing up. Jeff, you were at the White House today. I want to know what stuck out to you about this meeting, because I can tell you, the sources that I speak to, many of them know Mark Carney personally, because remember, he was the governor of the Bank of England. So tons of Wall Street guys know him. And the message I got on my phone over and over is, this is an embarrassment. I cannot believe this is happening. What in the world is Trump saying? You were there. What stuck out to you?
Well, I guess I would first respond to what they were saying to you, which is, anyone who was expecting it to be different hasn't been watching the president and the meetings that he's been holding with other foreign leaders for the last 107 days. What struck to me was how Carney behaved. He was very, very tough on Trump during his campaign. He certainly stood up for Canada today by saying it is not for sale, but he also used some pretty flattering language when he first came in and sat down with the president. He called him a transformative president, which, by the way, can be both, indeed, which I was just going to say, can be both negative or positive. So it's a pretty deliberate choice of words. But $10 says President Trump interprets that as flattery, and that is strategic. And that is also something that other peers in terms of prime ministers, heads of state, or people, who are at that level have used when they're coming into the Oval Office as well. So he stood up for his country, but he also was a little bit less combative. And I think that seems like that was strategic in a way that he was showing both to his countrymen and women and to the people in the White House and this president of the United States that he was there to be able to work with him, which is a useful thing for the Prime Minister of Canada to be able to do.
Well, perhaps it was that Harvard education that gave Mark Carney such skills when it comes to strategery.